All right, here we go. Quadratic formula in action. Let's do it. It'll be amazing. Remember, quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This problem I'm going to do, or I'm going to attempt to do, with different colors. And you know me in different colors. I love them so much, but I know it's going to drive you nuts. Bear with me. Here we go. I am going to start out, I'm going to label all my A coefficients as orange. My B coefficient is going to be this purple color. My C constant is going to be blue. Sound good? So we're going to see how we can simplify this equation, see how it will always work. We can always use it with the quadratic formula. I'm always going to start out by writing the quadratic formula down. Then after that, substituting my different numbers in for that equation. All right, so start out with x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4a blah, 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 ac all over 2a. Now, I'm going to start substituting some of my letters and stuff like that in here. For every a, I'm going to write the orange 2 in there. For every b, I'm going to write my 3 in there. Now notice b at the beginning is a negative b. That means if this is a negative number, I'd have a negative, and that's okay, and I have to deal with it. Then I'd have a negative 3 squared or whatever. I have to deal with that. It happens. It's going to happen. I have to be okay with it. I'm done with this color. And then last but not least, I have my C term, which is a negative 5. If you need to, you can always write these out and you can say my A is 2, my B is 3, my C is negative 5. And I highly suggest that doing that every single time. It really helps to keep yourself really organized. All right, so now I need to simplify this. Don't forget order of operations matters. That means I am going to start here with my square root symbol right off the bat. If I do that, I have still negative 3 plus or minus the square root. Simplify this. 3 squared is 9 minus 4 times 2 is 8 times a negative 5, negative 40. Take the square root of that. And 2 times 2 is 4. I can simplify that. That's okay if I simplify that, right? All right, still, I'm going to focus on that square root symbol. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus a negative 40, or 9 plus 40 is 49. Ooh, that's kind of nice that it ends up being a perfect square number. It won't always be the case, especially with the quadratic formula. Usually if you're using the quadratic formula, is you know that your answer is not going to be pretty. Answers typically aren't pretty when you use the quadratic formula. Because if they are pretty, use a different method. Use the square root method. If you can, if there's no b term, simplify by factoring it first or something like that. That is an easily factorable equation. It could happen. Either way. Finish this baby up. Square root of 49 is 7. And I don't need to worry about taking the square root of 49 and saying it's plus or minus 7 because it was already built into my equation. So I can say now negative 3 plus or minus 7 is equal to 4. Now, technically, this is my final answer, but because I have all nice numbers, I want you to find the actual answers. So that means because we have this plus or minus, we're going to have 2 different answers, and I'd suggest you writing them out in 2 different ways. We can say negative 3 plus 7 divided by 4 equals negative 3 plus 7 is 4 divided by 4, or 1. So that's one equation that I can work. And I have negative 3 minus 7 divided by 4. So now I can solve that one. Negative 3 minus 7 gets me a negative 10 divided by 4, which I can then simplify to negative 5 over 2, or negative 2.5. But you know me in fractions, I like that one best, and I like this answer. So my answers for x can equal 1, and x can equal -5/2. So I could say x is equal to 1 or -5/2, and I can write that as my answer. Notice I'm not writing it in parentheses because that is not an ordered pair. What is an ordered pair is me saying x could equal 1, 0 or -5/2, or actually I shouldn't say or, I should say and 5/2, 0. So those are my ordered pairs. These are just x values. Either one is a correct answer, but what I am not ever going to do is I'm never going to make them hard for me to find on a piece of paper. Because I'm always going to box them. I'm always going to make them obvious because I'm a great math student, right? Just like all of you are. It'll be fabulous. All right, let's try a more complex problem next. I can't hit the end stream button. All right, now let's really check out a more complex problem. Bye.